Okay, so we're solving for y. Let me put in the barrier right in the center here. Here we go. So we have a left side and a right side. We're trying to get y alone. So first order of business, like always, fractions. So we got to get rid of those. Step one, LCD. What's the LCD here? It's going to be 4 times 5, 20, isn't it? Right? The only two denominators are 4 and 5, not the 6. Because, why not? Because the 6 is not under a bar. He's not a denominator. So I don't even consider him. I just consider the 4 and the 5, and you know quite well 4 times 5 is 20. So 20 is the least common denominator. That's the number that 4 and 5 both go into. Again, don't care about 6. He's not a denominator. So, okay, what do you do with that? You multiply 20 over 1. So I'm going to come in here and go, okay, 20 over 1 and 20 over 1. Just like that. But actually, that's a mistake. If I only do that, I'm mistaken. I've seen that mistake many times over the years. That's a mistake. Do you see what mistake I'm making? Remember, this has got to be, you multiply every term, right? Multiply 20 over 1 to every term. So you got to do it with the 6. So you might say, well, yeah, but the 6 isn't a fraction. Doesn't matter, right? If the left side and the right side are equal and you treat them the same, you got to do the same thing to all the terms, then they'll be equal on the next line, right? If they're equal and you treat them the same, they'll be equal the next time. So you got to treat them the same. You got to do all the terms the same. If they were equal on the first line, you treat them the same, they will be equal on the next line. If you treat them differently, that won't work, right? Okay, so don't forget that, really easy mistake to make. So now what do we do from here? We cancel 4 into 20 5 times and 5 into 20 4 times. That's the reason we did it, right? We wanted to cancel that stuff out. So let me bring that down for us. Okay, so now let's find out what becomes of that. This is going to be 5y plus y, because all that's left is the 5 and the y. The 4 and the 20 are canceled. The ones don't do anything. It's just 5y. Now what happens here? 6 doesn't go into 20. No, it doesn't. It never meant to. It's 6 over 1, isn't it? Remember, again, that 6 is not a denominator. He's not under a bar. He's not going to cancel into 20. You only cancel stuff from the bottom to the top. Cross cancel, diagonal cancel. 4 into 20, right? They're diagonally canceling. These guys are going to multiply. It's going to be 120. Do you see that? They multiply. Because why? Because they're both in the top. Things that are both in the top multiply. Things that are bottom to top cancel, right? Because that's dividing. When you have a top and a bottom, you're dividing. But if they're both top, they're going to multiply. So watch out for that. All right, what do we got over here? 4y. Again, because the 4 and the y are all that's left, the 20 and the 5 are gone, the ones don't do anything. All right, so that was a big first step. That got rid of all the fractions. That's what we wanted, no more fractions. Next step number 2. What are we going to do? Well, there's a couple things you do. Probably the easiest thing is to subtract the 5y. You could subtract the 4y. That'd be a little more work. It's going to be easier just to subtract the 5y. So I'll do that. Subtract 5y. Subtract 5y. And then what's going to become of it? Well, these will cancel. This will be 120. This will be minus 1y, won't it? 4 minus 5, minus 1. And step number 3, divide by the minus 1. So divide both sides by the minus 1 on both sides. And so these cancel. Y is alone. Doesn't matter that we got on the right side, left side, whatever. This comes out to be minus 120, doesn't it? Because a positive divided by a negative is negative. 120 divided by 1 is just 120. So there it is. We got our Y alone. It is negative 120. So there it is. So recapping, what had to happen to make that work? The first step is the most important. It's the LCD step again. So at first step in every one of these problems is getting rid of the fractions, getting rid of the denominators. And the LCD is always the denominator, what the denominators go into. What do 4 and 5 go into? 20. So I multiplied by 20 over 1, 20, and all the terms. It's a common mistake to only do these two or something. It's got to be all three, every term by 20 over 1. And then you cross cancel 4 into 20, multiply what's left over, 5y, 5 into 20, 4y, and then 6 times 20, 120. Then it's easy from there. Just subtract the 5y, divide by the negative 1. There we go.